What up? Schmidt here, checking in with a why you should try Path of Exile 1 if you're a Diablo 2 gamer, specifically Project Diablo 2 gamer. PD2 uses a lot of PoE mechanics to enhance the classical D2 LOD experience. It's a deep and established content. They've been, developing the game for 10 plus years and have added a lot of really interesting choices to the game when you compare it to the D2 LOD experience. And you can tell after playing PoE 1 where PD2 got a lot of their inspiration for different content like slamming, maps, etc., etc. But yeah, why you should play PoE 1, there's extreme freedom in your choice of builds. You can play a caster, a melee, summoner, a bow enjoyer, and pretty much anywhere in between. If it's your first time playing, a lot of people will recommend Righteous Fire. It's a really great intro to the game. Just like an AoE around you. You just walk around, kill stuff, pick up loot. Shout out Pox for making really good guides and loot filters for noobs who want to get into the game. The build can be a little boring, but if you're just trying to focus on learning the game and getting through the campaign, Righteous Fire is definitely a good choice for that. And yeah, there's new content being added every season, every patch. This season, 3.26, they added mercenaries, which have been really fun and just allow for kind of more gearing choices throughout the campaign. And yeah, it's just Path of Exile. It's a complete and fulfilling ARPG experience. I would definitely recommend going with a guide on your first playthrough. There's many guides for whatever build you'd like to play. Super niche stuff, super meta stuff. There's going to be, 10 different guides you could follow. Find a YouTube video of a content creator you kind of can align with, and then you can just follow their build and kind of make that extremely daunting, massive passive tree a little more easy to digest when you can just follow a guide. I would definitely recommend following a guide, or you might get lost in the sauce. But yeah, the super deep, complex build options is what makes Path of Exile 1 an extremely good game, and I would honestly say it's the best ARPG ever made. Not discounting Diablo 2, but what Path of Exile has done with their game, it's they go above and beyond whatever Diablo ever did. Rip Blizzard, but it is what it is. Without further ado, here's my campaign playthrough. I just kind of go over the mechanics, some bosses, mini bosses. I tried to clip them all. I'm sure I missed some, but I would definitely recommend trying Path of Exile 1. Here we are starting the campaign. You can see that Hillock is the first boss you encounter. It's pretty much the Bloodmore of Diablo 2. We're starting at 50% here. He goes into phase 2. You pretty much just kite him around and try not to die. We've all died to Hillock. This is called the Beach, the Twilight Strand. And if you've ever heard the phrase, go back to the beach or back to the beach, that is what this zone is referring to. Second kind of elite you encounter is in the second zone, Fire Fury. This young gal, maybe it's a dude, who knows, can really mess you up. Generally, I skip it. For this video purpose, I am going to kill it. Fire can do a lot of damage, especially if you don't have any gear, which you generally won't at this point. The third zone you encounter is the Mud Flats. There's these Roa things. They're like, I don't even know what they are, but they charge you and they can kill you. I skipped the elite there. Pretty deadly too. Good rule of thumb is you probably want to skip the named elites unless they're like for a quest. Here's Brutus. If it's a quest, you obviously have to kill it, but mobs are super deadly, and yeah, I can just end your campaign run pretty quickly if you're playing hardcore, which again, I would advise against on your first try. Here's one of the mechanics. It's a strong box. You open it, mobs come out, and then a specific reward drops. This is just a basic strong box, so it's just going to pop out random stuff. But there are strong boxes with different abilities that you can, drop specific loot. Here's the shrine encounter. You can kind of see it on the mini map appear. You kill the mobs around the shrine, which the shrine is also affecting those monsters when you first encounter them, and then you click on the shrine to gain its ability. Here's the Act 1 boss, Merveil. She's 2 phases as well. I'm showing the second phase. After this, you can see I hover over my 2 sapphire rings, which give you cold res. Merveil is all cold damage, so you generally want to juice your cold res for that fight. Here's an essence encounter. You kill the essence by clicking on it once, twice, or 3 times, and then it drops an essence which lets you modify a white item to give it a set of specific modifiers and then other random rare modifiers. So I did it on that leather belt. So you can kind of upgrade white items to rares with specific affixes that you want based on the essence you drop. The Deletas is just a boss, mini boss that you have to kill to acquire some items. I'm just kind of showing this unique drop. There's way too many uniques in this game. Most are trash, but some are going to be relevant to your character, like this one. Here's the mercenary encounter, which is the newest League's mechanic, 3.26. You have 3 options. You can either hire the merc, take an item, or exile the merc. Here I saw a ring that I wanted, so I clicked take item, and then I fought the merc to get the item. Here's the Act 2 boss, Veil Oversoul. It's kind of multi-phase. Once you hit like a hit points threshold, he goes into the ground and then he'll come back out. Here's a Veil side area. At the end, it drops a Veil gem, plus it has like some deadly mods on it. This one has minus max res, which at this point I'm not res capped since it's only Act 3. So I didn't really care and I wanted to showcase it. That being said, there is a close call. But yeah, these areas can be pretty deadly. Here's the boss room. You can kind of know it's the boss room because that indicator on the map. And then you kill the boss. And then you click the Veil Vessel and that'll drop some Veil gems. Which some are good, most are bad, but some are build enabling or just give you good bonuses. This is the first Piety encounter. She's kind of a character you'll see throughout the campaign. And yeah, she's lightning damage, it looks like. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, here's the Tormented Soul or Tormented Spirit mechanic. It goes into the essence and then it gives it a modifier. I'm not exactly sure what all of them do. You could look them up just to see if it's super deadly or not. But generally, it's going to make the mob you're fighting a little more difficult. Here's a Blight encounter. It's kind of like a tower defense. You can spawn towers to help you clear the mechanic. And then at the end, it's going to drop random items and random like oils which you use to anoint your amulets. It's definitely more of an end game thing, but also I'd imagine you can do it pretty early if you wanted to. It pretty much unlocks a passive tree cluster that you wouldn't normally have, and a lot of them are very good for specific builds. So you kind of work towards the oils you need, and then you can anoint your amulet, and it's kind of a big power spike. Here's the Act 3 boss, Dominus. This is Phase 3. Phase 1 is just some random elites. Phase 2 is Dominus, who does a nasty slam. And then Phase 3 is that Dominus Ascendant, who you just want to stay in the bubble and DPS down. Here's a Merc. I'm fighting for an item in early Act 4, near Rip, unlucky. You can get a Quicksilver Flask in Act 1 from an optional quest, which on the first playthrough you definitely want to do. And then, you know, if you drop a second Quicksilver Flask, those are pretty beneficial for the campaign just because they increase your move speed. A good example of not standing still is that right there. You could kind of see I killed it and then it kind of charged something up, and at that point it's like, yeah, you probably don't want to sit in that. I'm not sure why I did, but hey, there you go. Here we are killing Azaro, the third phase. This is where you ascend from your base class to your ascendancy. It's one of the key mechanics of PoE and what unlocks specific abilities for your class, and kind of you build around it. The fight can be fairly challenging, but it's really not that bad. Here we are killing Comb. Fire res is important in this fight. Content can be kind of rippy, but yeah, you just gotta kind of make sure your res is good, or if you're softcore, just put a portal outside the arena so you can keep going back to it. This is kind of funny, this fight. It always brings me joy. Horny Vegan once posted a clip of him just going into the arena and just getting like one shot by some slam or something. So I don't know, there's always specific bosses. I think of specific people or my specific experiences of just falling over in hardcore, because it's gonna happen if you're new to the game, but that's kind of what makes hardcore, you know, fun. But this is Piety. She has like the first beam, which we just saw, and, you know, it's super telegraphed. You can see her charging it up before she does it. But yeah, you just gotta watch out for those beams. They will clap you. Here we are fighting Malagaro. If you see purple, that generally means it's chaos damage, which is really hard to get during the campaign. After the campaign, there's a bunch of good ways to get it in maps, and you need it in maps because it's more prevalent there. Yeah, here we are killing Diodre. She's got these 3 little circles on the ground, which are like different auras, and they like curse you, I believe. And if you're overlapping, then you'll get double curse, and if you're in the middle, you'll get all 3 curses. That's a really quick way to die. Ask me how I know. Here we are killing Chevron. These are the 3 bosses, mini bosses that lead you up to this fight with Malachi. This is the Act 4 boss. This fight's pretty simple. All this stuff is like super telegraphed, which most are in the game. The mechanics that'll get you are the kind of like on death effects where they can blow up and just, you know, can kind of catch you off guard. Here we are killing Innocence. I've died to Innocence. I don't really know anyone who hasn't died to Innocence. Innocence's biggest kill is Stoic. I think he's played the campaign a few times and rarely gets by Innocence, but it's just kind of a big meme at this point, but gotta love it. Here we are killing Katava for the first time, the Act 5 boss, who you fight again in Act 10 right before bosses. This fight is like pretty gnarly. There's a bunch of ground effects. There's a bunch of just different things that can kind of really catch you off guard. Yeah, I watched a video the first time I killed Katava a few times. I'm pretty sure the first time I ran into Katava, Act 5, she just clapped my cheeks, and that was that. We run back into Brutus, who is in Act 1. This is like Brutus reassembled with Chevron. I don't really know the lore, but Yeah, that's Act 6. We got Aberoth here, which can be super rippy. If your fire res is good, you can do it as you walk through Act 6. If your fire res isn't capped, it's recommended to skip him and come back. It's just a side quest that gives you a skill point. But yeah, in PoE, all your skill points are like super important. So it's really important to get all of those. Here we are killing the Brine King. This boss can be kind of rippy. I believe it's mostly cold damage, and there's ground effects as the arena shrinks, just like cold or lightning damage. I've died to the Brine King. Here we are doing a delirium mirror. I don't get walking through the portal, I guess, or there it is. Here we are 3x speeding this, but when you pop a delirium portal, it just spawns like monsters that come from the netherworld or something. And it pretty much just gives you more quantity of monsters, and then you get like a specific reward at the end of it based on how many you killed and kind of how long it went. You'll kind of see those rewards in a moment. Like the event ends here, and then you can see it, the loot pop, in a moment. Yeah, this is the expansive skill tree. That's a little excessive at first, but all the guides just tell you where to go. So yeah, there we are, just seeing like the reward pop, which is honestly, I really like delirium mirrors. I'm told they're pretty rippy in maps, but I've never like spec'd into them or kind of went all in on them. That was a smuggler's cache. That's the heist mechanic. You collect tokens and then run like contracts for different members and get like the currency rewards are pretty good. It's pretty rippy though. I remember when I started softcore the first time I played, I did a lot of heists and I definitely died a lot. But here we are doing an abyss. So you'll see like this green dot on your map, and then this like snake or something just like travels through the ground, lets out enemies as it goes, and then at the end like an abyssal trove pops that I just clicked on, and then you get like some specific loot. And that's rewarding. I believe you get, there's something specific you get from there. I want to say it's like clusters, but I don't think it's clusters. I think that's from Delirium. Here we are doing incursion. So you pop into this little zone, and then you clear as much of the zone as you can, and then a stone of passage drops, and that lets you open a door to a connected room. And then once you like quote unquote complete your temple, you can kind of get the reward from the temple you curated and completed. I've never actually done it, but it's definitely something. Here we are killing Grockle, kind of a cool boss. Here we are getting our second ascension Zaro fight. Yeah, Zaro can be like super rippy, as I mentioned earlier. He does like a slam, then he does like an AoE. And then this room, you can get like stuck on a trap. It's just really, whole game's about just positioning. Here we are killing Arakali. It's kind of funny. She's tormented by a tormented spirit, which, like, as I entered the zone, I saw the spirit go on her. And I was just like, well, this might not end well. But all her stuff's pretty telegraphed. And as you can see, it wasn't a big problem, but it could be. So yeah, you want to avoid all her, like, telegraphed chaos mechanics, because they could clap you. They will clap you. Who knows? Here we are killing Diodre the Vile. I guess this is the same lady that had like the 3 circle curses. I mean, it's just the same name. It looks very different, but hey. Here we are killing Dawn. This is like, you kill Dawn, you get the Sun Orb, and then you kill Dusk later and get the Dusk Orb or something, and then you fight both of them, you'll see at the end. Here we are in a Veil side area that I kind of explained earlier, and one of the key Veil gems is a Veil Molten Shell, so like I'm pretty much doing the Veil side areas hoping to get that drop. That's the only Veil gem that's used on my build. Here we are killing a Merc for a nice Amethyst ring, which has that Chaos Res implicit on it. That's a really good way to get Chaos Res early. So if you see those purple rings, take a look at it. You'll probably want to fight the Merc for it if it's not super rippy. Here we are getting Tri-Res, really nice max life roll boots that we can put movement speed with the Benchcraft, which is kind of sick. I'm pretty stoked on that. Here we are killing Dusk. Dusk drops the Moon Orb. I did not call it that, but yeah. So then, yeah, you get those 2 orbs, and then you go to the Solaris Concourse, and then you fight both of them at once. This is just the second of the 2, but yeah, we killed, or oh no, here's the second. Okay, yeah, you fight both of these. I've died in this fight. It's not great. They do like a telegraphed slam-ish, or like a little mini beam that comes out, and you just gotta watch out for that. That's a video you should watch as well, especially if you're playing hardcore. Here we are killing Yugal. This is another fight where you need cold res, and there's like a cold res debuff if you run into the smaller balls. But yeah, just with good mechanics, you can avoid it completely. This guy's super annoying. Shakari. You can get like caught up in quicksand, and you get a debuff, and then you can die there. I've died to Yugal and Shakari. And obviously that's like into Act 8 and 9, so you're just throwing hours away. But honestly, it's super fun, so yeah. Here we are killing General Addis. He does like a lightning charge up attack right here, actually. I should probably move away. And then he also does like a slam, but I've died to this guy, not in the campaign, but he's a map boss. Like all these mini bosses and act bosses you'll run into in maps, and yeah, they can be kind of rippy. Here we are doing like another trinity of bosses before the final boss. So you do these 3 portals. There's a boss in each. There's like a mini zone for these. You just kind of run through them, and then you get to the boss. Then they combine to like create the Act 9 boss Trinity, which is a small arena you'll see, and I probably died there. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, you'll see this like purple damage in this fight. That's gonna be chaos. So, those ground effects, if you have no chaos res, it could end poorly for you. I've seen Retro die, maybe not here, but to one of these Milwagra fights or whatever. And then yeah, here's the Trinity boss. Pretty small arena, ground effects. These ad phases are nice because it allows you to like refill some of your flasks, which is always important. But yeah, that's the Act 9 boss, and now we're approaching Act 10. We got Valenta. This fight's pretty cool. She kind of like, it's a 3-phase fight. You trigger her to like fly around and bomb you as you're killing ads, and I assume it's fire damage, but I'm not really sure. Here's the kind of crafting recipe mechanic. You can see on the mini map that little glowing like hammer. You approach that, click on that, and then that unlocks a benchcraft in your hideout, which is necessary for the game. It just lets you put different affixes on different items depending on which affix you have open, etc., etc. Here's the Kitava final fight, just a clip at the end. But this one's super rippy, and you got to definitely be careful. But yeah, once you kill Kitava, you're ready to go to maps and start doing that, which is arguably the best part of the game. So yeah, if you enjoy Project Diablo 2 and you want to try a new ARPG that's going to test your skills and make you learn way more than you'd ever want to, I would highly recommend Path of Exile 1. It's got the most depth of any ARPG I've ever played, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Just completing the campaign feels like getting to endgame Diablo 2 content. Just all the mini bosses are super fun, and honestly, every campaign I complete at season reset is super fun. And it's just awesome. I can't recommend it highly enough. And if you have any questions, feel free to post this video, join the Discord, drop into a stream, whatever you want. But yeah, I would highly suggest checking it out, and hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys give it a chance. Awesome. Schmidt out. Enjoy.